Samira Reroll has entered the meta after the recent patch gave her some nice buffs, and in this video I'll cover everything you need to know about the comp. This is a slow roll comp that wants to get 3-star units. The most important one is Samira, but we're also chasing Cassiopeia and Swain 3-star as well. We will be slow rolling at level 5 with this board until we have at least Samira 3-star. Then we will play 6 Noxus once we reach level 6, and then add Warwick back in at level 7, and then our level 8 can be anything, but we usually top it off with Heimerdinger. There is very little we can do to change our board, as we always want 6 Noxus and 2 Challengers in, but the few things we can do will be covered later in the video. Samira is our main carry, so we prioritize making items for her first. She has one core item, and that is blue buff. To understand why, let's take a look at Samira's spell. She has 30 mana in total, which is reduced to 20 with blue buff. Additionally, if she gets a kill with blue buff, for an additional 10 mana, meaning she will cast her spell, do an auto attack, then cast her spell again. This can completely turn around fights in your favor, and there is no replacement for blue buff as her core item. The second item wants to be a damage item. This can be Giant Slayer, Guardbreaker, Deathblade, Infinity Edge, and in some lobbies, Last Whisper as well. All these items are there to increase her damage. The third item wants to be either another damage item or a healing item, which is either Hodge or Gunblade. Do not build BT, as the extra defensive effect from it is useless on Samira. You won't need healing in every lobby, so a lot of the time you will just have another one of the damage items mentioned earlier as your third item. After you made Samira items, we want to make items for Cassiopeia, but only if we're in a spot to 3-star her. She wants blue buff and 2 AP items. Here are some examples of final builds for her. It will be pretty hard to make perfect items for both Samira and Cassiopeia, so don't force the Cassiopeia items too hard, focus on Samira items instead first. If you still have items left over, you will itemize Swain with tank items if you 3-starred him, if not, put them on Darius or Scion. If you get a spatula, then you always want to make Noxus Bat. This is great as it allows us to drop one of the Noxus units that aren't doing much in this build, which are Kled and Katarina. Put the Noxus emblem on Warwick, and the 7th and 8th unit you add in this case will be discussed later in the video. The win condition of this comp is to hit 3 stars and then push to as high of a level as possible. The best legends to run to obtain that goal is Lee Sin, as his augments allow us to get more rerolls for free, allowing us to hit the 3 stars faster. If you do not want to run Lee Sin, then Twisted Fate is another great option, as Pandora's items will allow us to get best in slot items for both Cassiopeia and Samira. The third option is to run Caitlyn, mostly because her Stars Are Born augment is great, as you can get a Swain 2-star and Samira 2-star for free, and it's more of a flexible legend than the other two. The best portals for this comp are House Lightshield, Bandle Cafeteria, Nox Crea, Stillwater Hold, The Summit, Shifting Sands, Shreeman Bazaar, and Erin Mount. The best augments for this comp are Total Domination, Noxus Harder Crust, Portable Forge, Stars Are Born, Golden Ticket, Pandora's Bench, Trade Sector, Healing Orbs, Cybernetic Leech, Pandora's Items, Army Building, You Have My Sword, Long Distance Pals, Idealism, Unified Resistance, Jeweled Lotus, Harm Assist, and Frequent Flyer. I mentioned a lot of augments there, and the best ones out of those are Total Domination, Noxus Crest, Portable Forge, Golden Ticket, Healing Orbs, and Cybernetic Leech. If all that info was a lot to take in, then check out the cheat sheet for this comp. It's available for patrons and YouTube members. Here is the quirky cheat sheet from a previous set, so you know what to expect for the Samira Reroll cheat sheet that is available right now. In the early game, you generally want to have 3 Noxus and 3 Samira before you commit to the comp. If you're not able to hit that, then always play for a loss streak and utilize the other item carriers like Jhin, Tristana, or Zed until you have that level 4 board. The reason why having 3 Noxus active on stage 2 is so important is because we need to get Noxus stacks ASAP for this comp to be good. Since we are slow rolling at level 5 with this comp, it's also important to note that we will never ever level in the early game, as we want to stay as low a level as possible for as long as possible. But this does not mean we will be trying to go for a 5 loss streak like with most other comps. Instead, we will often be trying to win a couple rounds to get some stacks. This can be easily done if we are able to get an early blue buff for Samira, as this greatly increases our damage output in the early game. And if you want to learn more about how to play the early game, then check out my guide, where I go in depth on that subject. After the Krugs round on stage 3-1, you will still be level 4. Here, we will be rolling down to around 35 gold. This is to make sure we 2-star our entire board, so we don't lose as much HP in the mid game. You can also roll lower than that if you're only missing 3 or 2 champions for Samira 3-star. It is more important to dig for early 3 stars with this comp as we need to get the Noxus stacks, so don't feel bad about dropping down to even 20 gold if you're closing in on Samira 3 star. On stage 3-2, you will be level 5. The goal from here is to get back up to 50 gold so we can start slow rolling with this board. Our 3 star priority here is Samira, Cassiopeia, then Swain. Don't go for any other 3 stars at level 5. You will slow roll at level 5 until you have at least Samira 3 star. If you have good items for Cassiopeia, then you stay level 5 until you 3 star her as well. If you haven't hit the 3 stars you need by stage 4-1, then you want to all in for your 3 stars, as you will get destroyed by all the other players rolling down on 4-1 if you do not hit your 3 stars. And once you hit everything you need, start pushing levels. Once you hit all your 3 stars, you will instantly level up to 6 and place 6 Noxus, then add Warwick back in at level 7, and once you're at level 7, you have a decision to make. You can either stay level 7 and try to 3-star Darius, Katarina, and Swain if you haven't hit them already, or push level 8 to add in legendaries. The reason to roll for more 3 stars at level 7 is that Darius and Katarina 3 star are powerful carries if you have items for them, so this decision will depend on 2 things. You need both good items for them, and you also need to be in a healthy spot with a good amount of gold, as hitting them will be expensive. Note that most of the time it is correct to go level 8, as you're only going to be able to itemize 3 or more carries on certain portals that give you a ton of items. If you decided to push levels and go level 8, you have 1 extra slot, where you will add in Heimerdinger most of the time. We also have some other options. We can add in Rise here as well. He provides great value depending on which region is in, and those are the 2 best options, but you can also add in any 2-star legendary and feel happy about your decision. We can't really adapt our board too much here, but if you get +1 Noxus, you want to go for 4 Juggernauts if you have items on Darius. If not, go for 2 Freljord, or just add in both Rise and Heimerdinger there. And if you get +1 Challenger, add in Yasuo for 4 Challengers at level 8. And that's about it with this comp. Now moving on to some general positioning with this comp, which looks like this. We want to split off both Samira and Cassiopeia to different corners so that we split the risk of them getting CC'd, but also so they don't target the same unit and overkill them, as they both deal a large amount of single target damage. We also want Sion on the outskirt of our frontline so that he dashes into the backline, and we want our strongest tank on the other outskirt, which will be Swain or Darius in most games. You generally place Heimer in the middle, but you can place the turret wherever. But if you have upgrades like Shred and Burn, you want to make sure the turret is attacking a valuable target. Now moving on to some in-depth positioning examples. Against the first guy, the big threat is Zeri. We have Sion positioned to hopefully dash down to the Zeri. Samira and Cassiopeia are both on the opposite side of the enemy Sion to stay alive longer. Katarina is in the middle to hit as many people as possible with her spell. Against the second guy, the big threat is Bel'Veth. We position the turret to hit Bel'Veth with its spell. Samira and Cassiopeia are once again on the same side to dodge the Sion. Katarina is in the middle yet again to be able to hit as many people as possible with her spell. And against the third guy, the big threat is Lux and Ahri. Our Sion is positioned to dash to either Lux or Ahri. Katarina is second row to not get instantly blasted by the enemy Lux. Cassiopeia and Samira are split off to different corners to stay safe. The enemy Jarvan will likely ult on our second or third row in the middle, not hitting Cassiopeia or Samira. This is because most of our champions are closer to the middle. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want cheat sheets for any of my comp guides, they're available for you to members and patrons, and the links to join those are down in the description. And if you want to get better at TFT, join the Discord. We got over 9,000 other players there who are hungry to climb. And if you want to get coached by me, the information is over on the Discord server as well. So take care and see you in the next video.